Welcome to the On Deck podcast for all your baseball DFS needs with your superstar host, fantasy baseball experts, Casey, Bubba, and Bogman. On Deck podcast is sponsored by LineStar app, the #1 top-rated data and analytics tool for daily fantasy sports.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the On Deck MLB DFS podcast, brought to you by the wonderful people at LineStar Sports. Make sure you check them out on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar MLB, and download the app in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. You will not regret it. Everything you need in the palm of your hands to build your winning lineups. And folks, football's coming. Baseball can be stressful these days. The COVID, everything else, it's going to be a wild 60 more days of baseball. Football's coming. You're going to want that app, folks. I'm telling you right now. And we got some stuff coming your way, but we can't talk about that yet. So I'm on Twitter at Pediatric. My co-host, who did the like he's Billy Bob, and, Billy Bob Thornton there, wants some French fried potatoes. He's on Twitter at Bogman Sports. Scott, how we doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I like me them French fried potatoes.
I see what's funny is he's not acting because he's from the South. So.
I mean, I legit could have ended up sounding like that. He
was one horse kick away from making
Look, I guarantee that my redneck accent will start coming back out because I'm moving back to Texas, next weekend, actually. So I will be missing here for a couple days. But I dropped y'all like a bad habit when I moved here because I moved here when I was 11, and every kid in my grade looked at me like I had 3 heads whenever I'd say y'all. So I know that'll be the first thing to come back. Yep. I think it already has because I've been around my cousins more and they say it all the time. So
it's funny you say that because my wife's cousin moved to Austin a couple years ago now. We went and visited them, and we see them probably a couple times a year. She says you all like it's hella in the North Carolina. I'm just like, you're from Reno, Nevada. Like, what are you doing here?
Y'all and y'all's,
Yeah.
Is this y'all's pool? Is this where you go swimming? Right over here?
Oh, that's great. I could do it because my name's Bubba and all, and I'd fit right in. I'd fit right in over there. So it'll be a fun day sometime. But I digress. Tuesday, fun times. Chalky Yankees go off. Chalky Coors Field goes off. It was a wild night. Pitching was atrocious across. Like Mad Bum was great. He's been really good. I didn't have the nerve to pull the trigger, but he's been very good lately. So
we're both kind of dancing around it. And Cueto was decent too. He wasn't terrible, but he got bum-garnered. You know what I mean? Bummy was too good. And my Zach Davies call didn't work out like I thought it would, but Max Fried was pretty solid.
Fried was very good.
Yeah, Patino was okay. Kikuchi was much better than I thought he was going to be. So there was some good pitching, but there's also pretty horrific pitching too.
Yeah, Patino, I took a few notes from that game talking to Jason Collette and some Rays guys that will carry over some future starts. And lastly, the Philadelphia Phillies. Zach Wheeler throws 7 beautiful innings. They let him go out for the 8th and just ruin his entire start. So I'm just like, guys, how many managers want to keep doing that to me? It's getting really freaking annoying. So just come on, guys, get it together. But let's move on to Wednesday before I really lose something here. If you really want to see some fun, go check out LineStar YouTube. It's going to be it just feels like one of those shows. So go check out the LineStar YouTube.
Both a little sleep deprived, a little slap happy. It's later than usual. So
it's going to be a fun one. I can feel it coursing through the veins, especially with how bad the pitching is on Wednesday night. Ugh. So let's kick off this party. 11-game slate to get you going here. Baltimore Orioles at the New York Yankees. Bogman's favorite pitcher, Matt Harvey, takes on Jameson Taillon in this one with a wonderful, wonderful over-under of 9.5. Harvey's 53 on DK, 67 on FanDuel. Taillon is 10-2 on DK, the second most expensive pitcher on DK, and he's 8,000 on FanDuel. 2 things. Taillon's been good the month of July, one of the better pitchers in baseball in the month of July. Is he 10-2 viable? Probably not. But Matt Harvey's your boy, so you got to be using him, right?
I am not brave enough to step into that or step over that bear trap again. I'm going to go ahead and pass on Harvey tonight. But I do like Taillon even at this price. You just said it. He's been great all of July. So we're into August now. So hoping it carries over. But I'm not in on Harvey, which makes me in on some Yankees bats. I like Rizzo. I like Judge. I did like Urshela, but he went on the DL. So give me Rizzo, Judge, and Taillon. I like that group. If you don't want to start Taillon, Cedric Mullins, Mountcastle, Mancini, Ramon Urias went yard. Was that tonight or last night? They're all blending together.
Monday.
So yeah, but he's been good recently. So I like those bats, but mainly Tyon and the 2 Yankees bats.
Yeah, Baltimore is always in play for me, but I agree with the Tyon take. 10-2 is crazy pricey on DK, which makes him a great GPP play because he'll be like less than 5% owned. Like he'll be like no one's going to roster him. 8K on FanDuel, I think, is a very nice mid-range price tag. I think he's very, very much in play there. So don't mind that at all with Tyon. If you want to go to the Yankees bats, go for it. They tilt me to no end because they're garbage for like 2 weeks, and they do what they did tonight. So that's annoying, but you can go to them if you want. The usual suspects, as you mentioned. If you're going to stack them, they'll stack them big because if they go off big. They don't just like mess around. They
a lot of stackable games tonight too.
Yeah, because the pitching's horrible. I think we're going to say that like 14 more times on this, and there's only 10 more games. Philadelphia at the Washington Nationals on this one. Chase Anderson versus Paolo Espino. Over under of 9. Both pitchers are 6K area.
Yeah, look, Espino's been okay recently, but I'm just not really interested. Give me bats in this game, all the bats. Robles is 2 for 5 with a double and a bomb against Anderson. Real Muto, Harper, Bohm, Odubel, Jankowski have all been hitting. Soto and Bell and your boy Yadiel Hernandez is a nice cheap option. So I like only bats in this game and no pitchers.
Yeah, Espino's a guy that I like, but he gets no strikeouts, so it makes it very difficult. I think it's definitely a bats game. I like the national side of things because you can pay for Soto. Bell went deep again on Tuesday night, but you get Yadiel Hernandez for $2,400, and then you get their leadoff hitter Andrew Stevenson for $2,400 as well. So you get 2 very, very cheap outfielders to go with Soto and Bell for a nice affordable stack. I'm a big fan of that with the Washington Nationals. And if you want to go Real Mutos, the Harpers, Odubels of the world, you can. Segura went deep on Tuesday as well. It could be a game stack. I have zero problem with that at all with Espino because when Espino's a massive pitch to contact guy. So the BABIP game is coming. He's got like a 244 BABIP, not sustainable. So eventually the big one's coming. If you want to go Philadelphia, I 100% get it. I like attacking Chase Anderson as well, and you get that value with Stevenson and Yadiel we talked about. So I don't mind that at all. I prefer the Washington side, but you can definitely game stack this one, which again, it's going to happen in more games than one. Cleveland at Toronto on this one. We got Gene JC. That's what I like to call him. This Gene stuff. JC Mejia going up against Steven Matz. Over under of 10. Mejia's 55 and 58. Matt's 82 and 7K. The one thing I will say, I don't want either pitcher right now, but if Cleveland throws out a worse than normal lineup, which is saying a lot on this slate, what Ryu just did to carve them up, and I'm not comparing Ryu to Matz, but Matz can be in play just because pitching is that bad on this slate.
You know what? I'll give it to you. Yeah, I kind of don't like Matz at this price. I think paying for Matz at this price, you might as well just pay up for Tyon, right?
Yes.
But I'm in on bats here. Both sides. Obviously, anyone in Toronto you want to play, you got to pay up for him, but you can play him. On the Cleveland side, Jose Ramirez has been hot. Ahmed Rosario's been hitting. Miles Straw is still cheap, 23-26. Franmil Reyes, Austin Hedges, these guys have all been hitting. So I'm going to pick bats in this game.
Yeah, no problem with the Cleveland stack. Zero problem with that at all. I think Franmil is a phenomenal play, and he might end up later in the show. I haven't narrowed it down yet because there's like 75 home run candidates. But I think Franmil is one of those guys that kind of goes near the top of the list. Let's put it that way in this matchup for Steven Matz. And I love the Toronto stack. They're going to be very popular because it's Toronto. But what I always say, I start with Springer, Teoscar, Bichette. 2 of those guys went deep on Tuesday. That's where I start, and you can build from there. But there's a lot to like with Toronto. One of my more favorite stacks in this slate is me. He has another pitch-to-contact guy that's been shellacked a lot lately. And the Cleveland bullpen does not scare me at all. Boston at Detroit, Eduardo Rodriguez, Casey Mize on this one, over under of 9. Erod's 9K on DK, 76 on FanDuel. He's been struggling a bit of late. Casey Mize is up to $8,800 on DK, 75 on FanDuel, and I cannot pay that price for Casey Mize. So what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, I was going to let you talk me into Erod, but it seems like you don't want to do it. So
on this slate, he's in play because pitching's that bad, but right now I will not roster Erod. But again,
I think once again,
that can take place.
Erod, if you're going to pay $9,000 for him, just pay up for Tyon.
We're gonna talk about a guy in one of the next games that's $9,100 that makes me want to break all of DraftKings. So that's who I'd be playing.
But for me, yeah, I mean, Mize had his first quality start since the 28th of June, his last time out, but I just don't want any part. I'm going to stick to bats here, like you said. Robbie Grossman, 4 for 11 with a double. against Erod, 3 for 13 for Miggy, and he's sitting at 498. So climbing closer and closer to that 500 homers, and he's cheap, 28-26. Devers, Kike, Christian Vasquez, all been hitting. Eric Haas, Candelario, Castro, and like I said before, Miggy. I'm in on all those bats.
Yeah, Miggy's one of the better values on the slate. Went deep again on Tuesday over the last couple of weeks, really stroking it. So I like him quite a bit against Erod in this one. And if you want to go to Detroit, you can. Very disappointing game overall when we had Richards versus Peralta in the finals 4-2 on Tuesday, but that's baseball, folks. So I wouldn't let that scare you off completely on stacking this one up. It's not one of my favorite games to go to. There's so many other options on this slate. But Miggy, for one, I will mention I love the value in his bat, especially on DK at 28, 26 on FanDuel is pretty solid as well. New York Mets at the Miami Marlins. Carlos Carrasco making his second start of the season versus Zach Thompson. Over under 7.5. Carrasco's 85 and 82. He went 58 pitches in his last start. Thompson 7K and 76. I am intrigued by Thompson just because of his price tag and his strikeout upside.
Yeah, that's what I've got listed. I have 5 guys. And now I'm hungry, but I have 5 guys listed, and Thompson is one of them. Carrasco, I love him way more than Thompson, but he's just not stretched out enough yet.
Cookies and 5 guys. Look, like you guys got this going like crazy.
So for bats, if you're on the Miami side here, Brian Anderson, Rojas, Jesus Aguilar still cheap at 3,000, 2,800. Like all those guys are in play. If you're not going to play Thompson, Dom Smith, John VR has been hitting like a madman recently. Pete Alonso went yard the other night. Drury still hitting. McNeil is cheap on FanDuel at least. So I would look at those bats, but I'm in on Zach Thompson for sure.
Yeah, I'm on Thompson on this one. It's just scary because I think a lot of people will be thinking the same way we will. And if he's chalky, that's just terrifying. Yeah. But I'm with you on Thompson at his price tag, especially as an SP2 at 7K on DK. I like that quite a bit. I don't know if he goes deep enough on FanDuel. Plus $400 more, you get tie on. So you're good there. Cookie, man, if they just said he's going to throw 80 pitches, I'd be in. But I think it's probably like 70 or 75. Yeah, and it's sketchy. Like if they just said 80 on this slate, I'd go. You got me. But I just can't. So I'm just going to watch it and hope he pitches well again because I just love Cookie to begin with. And hope Thompson can give us a decent enough start at his 7K price tag. Atlanta at St. Louis. We got Lester last night. We got the other washed up lefty they traded for tonight at J.A. Happ going up against Drew Smiley. Oh, this is just outstanding. Smiley 68 on DK, 72 on FanDuel. Happ doesn't matter. Smiley, I'm intrigued by. Again, bad slate. We just saw what Freed did to him, the lefty situation. St. Louis striking out about 24% of the time versus lefties over the last month. They're getting worse and worse versus lefties. Bad slate. You can use Smiley as an SP2. Just don't watch the game, I would suggest. But I'm 100% back on the same Braves guys against Happ.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more about the bats here. I'll give you Smiley. He's not one of my 5 guys, but I like Riley. I like Dansby, Ozzie. Soler is unstoppable since he's gotten traded. 3,300 on both. So love that price. Jock Peterson and then Carlson, Bader, Goldie, Molina have all been hitting as well. So I will stick to bats. And I did do, Happ traded for Gant. I did post in our ITL group me room the Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other. Same guy.
The second that trade happened, I said, "Can Gant please go back into the rotation? Please, I begged you for 2 months, just give me that." But I will be all over for Atlanta again. I'll start out just like last night. Albies, Soler, and Riley. And if you want to add more to it, knock yourself out. Like Duvall's always a good one. Freeman even went lefty crime. So you can have fun there. If you are going to St. Louis side of things, there's mixes and matches of pieces. The one I really like value-wise, Harrison Bader at 27 on DK. 34 on FanDuel is not really the value you're looking for, but 27 on DK, he's playing very well. Right? His strikeout rate's dropped tremendously, and he's hitting the ball very, very well. So Bader's a nice little value as well. Angels at the Texas Rangers. We finally get some Shohei Ohtani action on this one, going up against Colby Allard, over under of 8. Ohtani's 95 on DK, 10-7 on FanDuel. Allard's 5K and 66. Do you go back to Ohtani on this one, hoping that Bruce finger's doing okay?
Hell yes. Let's go back to him. Let's get it. Finally, another pitcher. I think this is the 3rd guy I've listed here. So, Ohtani, Tyon, and Thompson are the guys that I've listed so far. I'm in on Ohtani. Let's go back to him. And I also like some LA bats against Texas. I mean, look, like Joe Adell coming back up. I like
2K
that.
on both sides.
Stassi, Lagares, Fletcher as well. So I'll go to that. Well, I'm not really interested in anything on the Texas side.
Yeah, I like some Angels as well. Adele 2K on both sides. He had a 2-run double and an RBI single, and he was crushing it in the minors. So that's a big one. Enjoy him while he's cheap type situation. That won't last too long. Stassi, you mentioned Fletcher even stole a bag. He's playing well. So yeah, definitely go back to some Angels in this one. They're hard to full stack because they're still kind of like, I'm really playing that guy, but it's not bad. And I'm with you on Ohtani, just hoping we get the distance out of him, but it is a good look for you as well. Kansas City at the Chicago White Sox. We got Carlos Hernandez versus Lucas Giolito. Over under 8.5 is a rematch from last week. Hernandez 56 on DK, 61 on FanDuel, threw very well against the White Sox last week. Gio's 10-6 and 92, and he threw very well against Kansas City, but he's been wishy-washy of late. So what's your take on these two?
He's been wishy-washy, but I do like him here. So I'll go back to Giolito. He is one of my elusive 5 guys. Whit Merrifield could be in play if you're not into Giolito. Other than that, Brian Goodwin's been hitting. Adam Engels, Cesar Hernandez. There's not a lot going on in this game. So I get a little Carlos Hernandez contrarian love. I'm just not going to put him on my list, but I do like Giolito. He's my favorite option here, even at that price.
Both guys are in play. I get it. Gio's just one of those, when he struggled big time lately, but he looked really good his last time out. And Hernandez is definitely an SP2 option for me, just because the White Sox bats have been very disappointing right now. Very, very disappointing. So even Chris Bubick he pitched well enough for the second straight time against them. So Hernandez intrigues me. It's kind of tough to do, but he definitely intrigues me in this matchup, which means I really don't like any of the bats, especially now Benintendi probably destroyed his shoulder and is out for the season. It's just getting worse and worse in that game. We have 3 more games to discuss. Before we get to that, if you guys give a rating and review on iTunes for the On Deck podcast, we'd much, much appreciate it. And again, you're not going to want to miss the YouTube channel on some of these. As these slates get worse and worse, you're going to see the eyes in the back of my head. It's going to be amazing. And so you're going to want to check out the LineStar YouTube channel, subscribe, give the old thumbs up on that one. All right, let's head to Colorado, everybody. Chicago, Colorado, Alec Mills, John Gray, over under 11 in this one. Mills is 58 and 64. Gray is 72 and 84. And I love John Gray. Freeland, hey, he was great for us until he got hurt. I'll take Gray again on this one.
Yeah, you know what? I'll put Gray in. He'll be my 6th guy. I kind of forgot about him, but he has been better at home. And this is a rough Cubs lineup right now. So we'll add Gray here. If you're not going with either of the pitchers, I like Rogers, Tapia, Sam Hilliard's been hitting. You mentioned him yesterday. Ryan McMahon, not as expensive as he was at 36 and 39. Ortega, Wisdom, maybe Alcantara if you want to play the Chicago side. But yeah, I'll add Gray.
Yeah, if you are fading Gray, Ortega leading off is still stinking cheap. Ian Happ went deep. He's hitting like 4th. David Bodie was hitting 3rd. They were like the values with Chicago, like there's value on both sides in this game, but there's tons of Chicago value if you want it. But I prefer the Colorado side again because I do like John Gray. The price tag on DK at 72 is ridiculous. Even 84 on FanDuel is intriguing because I think most will go to Tyon in that range. So you'll get kind of a very, very low owned John Gray, which could be a nice tournament appeal for you. Tapia leading off is great. Sam Hilliard, if they weren't the Rockies, they wouldn't bat him 8th. That'd be nice. But he had an RBI double and a 2-run homer on Tuesday, and he continues to rake. So I like Hilliard a lot. Mix and match some pieces there. So yeah, Rockies, they should be popular yet again, and mix in some John Gray there. I like that quite a bit. All right, Houston, Dodgers, Odorizzi, Scherzer making his debut in LA.
I did like the inflatable trash can getting punted around like a beach ball. Like I've never really seen one endearing thing from the Dodgers ever, but I have to give it to them. That was pretty nice.
It was garbage though during batting practice. Every home run in batting practice, they were throwing them at the Dodgers players. The Astros players. Like, come on, people. Like, get it together.
Yeah.
Garbage. But Houston, LA, Odorizzi, Scherzer. Odorizzi's 98 on DK, 73 on FanDuel. That is ridiculous because Max Scherzer is 10-5 on FanDuel. They got it. They're good. Scherzer somehow $9,100 on DraftKings. I'll give you the floor in a second, but Ohtani's 95, Gossman's 97, Jake Odorizzi is 98, and then right below Scherzer is Erod. Casey Mize is $300 cheaper than Max Scherzer. Get it together, DraftKings. Like Scherzer should be 80% plus owned, and it's it's chalk. I have to play. It feels like.
I just don't know what are they expecting him to go like 3 innings or something. I don't get it.
The price tag makes no sense.
And honestly, more surprising than that is why the hell is Jake Odorizzi 9,800?
Yeah.
He's given up 10 earned
insanity.
runs in his last 13 and a third. That's his last 3 starts. Hard pass. Give me Dodgers bats. Look, there is some PVB here. Brantley is 15 for 44 with 8 doubles, a triple, and a bomb against Scherzer. So for whatever reason, he is the guy that knocks him around at 341 career average against him. But on the Dodgers side against Odorizzi, who once again has given up 10 earned runs over his last 13 and a third, Pollock, Taylor, Pujols, Muncy, Will Smith, Mookie Betts been playing some second base. We like that. So I'll stick to Dodgers bats and Mad Max here. Let's go.
Yeah, Max is like one of my favorite pitchers. I'm scared to see how popular he's going to be, but it's one of those I'm just going to eat the chalk most likely because he's just that darn good. If you're playing cash games on DraftKings, especially, play Max Scherzer, please, because everyone else will be. And if he pitches well, you just donated your money. So that's part of the philosophy of playing cash games. And I do like some Dodgers bats because Odorizzi's garbage. You can attack him with right-handed bats and left-handed bats. Don't worry about it. Do it all. And starts with Mookie Betts. So build around Mookie Betts. Maybe you'll get some nice McKinstry value or somebody like that. But, yeah, stack your Dodgers up. Don't worry about that one. Last game of the evening, Giants, D-backs, Gausman, Gallen, over under 8.5 on this one. Gausman's 97 on DK, 10,000 on FanDuel. He's struggled a lot lately. Gallen's 79 and 78. Are you going to go to Gallen as a little value here? Are you going to Gausman? What are you doing?
Well, I've already mentioned all 6 of my guys since I added Gray and Scherzer, so hard pass on that. Look, Gallen is a play at your own risk guy. He's been a little landmine-ish lately. Gausman been rough the last few times out, so I'm going to let him get right before I go back to him. There's PVB data here on both sides. Calhoun 7 for 21 with 3 doubles and a bomb against Gausman. 5 for 17 for Freight Train with a double against Gausman. 3 for 4 for Duger against Gallen with a double and a triple. 4 for 11 for Yastrzemski with a double. And then there's hot hitters on both sides here. Ruff, Crawford, Posey, Slater, Solano, all been hitting for your Giants. Walker, Varsho, Ascab, and Josh Van Meter, if he's in the lineup, have all been hitting as well for Arizona. So I would rather play hitters here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do too. Gausman, I'm hoping he figures it out for the long haul, but since the issues with his wife's the pregnancy, which is all fine now, but he has not been the same. Even just watching the pitches, control is a mess. He can't figure it out right now. So I'm worried about that. And until he can figure it out, I can't pay that price tag. Gallen's intriguing. I'm not there, but like the play at your own risk. If you're a risky GPP player, it's intriguing. It's very intriguing. But I like Giants. Like Yastrzemski at 43 on DK. I think it's a great value. You're going to get probably Lamont Wade Jr. back potentially. Crawford had the day off. He'll be back. Posey had the day off. He'll be back. So there will be a lot to like in that Giants lineup to stack them back up. And you mentioned some Arizona bats. Watching the last few days, Van Meter and Cabrera are crushing it. And they're both super values. So you can mix in some Arizona if you like. I wouldn't go heavy. I don't mind a big Giant stack.
The only way I go is heavy.
Hey, you and me, me and me both, brother. Me both. All right, recapping things real quick. Who was your 6-pack again?
My 6-pack here, I've got Scherzer, Ohtani, Tyon, Giolito with Gray and Zach Thompson as secondary options.
Yeah, if I had to pick just 2 guys, I'd go Scherzer and Gray. That's just where I'm at. But I have no problem with Gio, Tyon, Ohtani, as you mentioned, and then Thompson. We're pretty much on the same page. I could see an argument for Drew Smyly if you needed him. What stacks do you like? Or it's probably easier to say what ones you don't like, but what stacks do you like tonight?
Dodgers against Odorizzi, Atlanta against Happ, Washington against Philly, the Angels against Allard, and Cleveland and Detroit. I think you could do a stack on either side.
You know, Washington, I like. I don't mind the Philly side of that either, but I like Washington a lot. LA Angels versus Texas, and LA Dodgers versus Houston, as you mentioned, both in play. Atlanta's probably my favorite one, and they give me some Colorado as well in their matchup versus Alec Mills. So you can pretty much stack 80% of this slate if you're really feeling up to it. So that's good to know. With all that being said, though, make sure you follow LineStar on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar MLB because they'll tweet out all the recent news, all the lineups to let us know hey, Drew Smyly might be worth it. Bubba wasn't that crazy. He's crazy, not that crazy. So check that out. And also the home run calls of the day were from Bogman, myself, and Ryan Humphreys. We each give a home run call. If you retweet the home run call of the day, tweet 3 lucky retweeters will get picked at random to get paired up with each one of us. And if our guy goes deep, you win some free swag. So Bogman in a night where we'll probably see 45 to 55 more home runs. Who's your home run call of the day?
Give me former Diamondbacks #1 pick, Dansby Swanson. Give me Dansby against Hap. Love him.
That's a good one. That's a very, very good one. I'm going to go to the same game, and I'm glad you didn't pick mine. I'm going to go to Austin Riley. I almost went Soler, but he went deep Tuesday. We're going to hope he has we hope they both go deep. But I'm going to go with Austin Riley on this one. He had great at-bats on Tuesday. He's been swinging it well. So I'll go Riley. You'll go Swanson. I got the 4-hitter. You got the 5-hitter. Hopefully we go back-to-back. That would be outstanding. And we'll see what Ryan Humphreys does. Maybe we'll get a 3-pack all from the Braves against J.A. Happ, because that would be a very J.A. Happ thing to do. So
yes, it would.
That'll be a fun one for us to check out. But again, it's going to be a wild one. It's going to be a wild rest of the season. We'll be back to you guys on Thursday with a shorter slate as usual. But for now, you can find Bogman on Twitter at Bogman Sports. I'm at BD Hendrick. Good luck on your Wednesday. We'll catch you guys later.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the LineStar app On Deck podcast. Download LineStar app from the App Store or go to linestarapp.com for all your DFS baseball needs. If you love the On Deck podcast, support KC, Bubba, and Bogman by rating and subscribing. Good luck.